Catherine, Princess of Wales, has spent more than a decade operating within the high-stakes machinery of the British royal family, without executing a single public misstep. Not one. When you actually stop to think about the staggering, near-impossible level of psychological control required to maintain that flawless standard, across years of constant global scrutiny, what happened recently starts to look less like a standard royal protocol story and more like a definitive breaking point. A woman who understands the language of the monarchy at that absolute depth does not accidentally suffer a lapse in discipline. She doesn't just have an off day that the cameras happen to catch. The kind of rigid control it takes to be Catherine for this long simply does not fail by chance. When she breaks protocol, she breaks it entirely on purpose. We are about to look at the hidden friction that has been building behind closed doors, decode the silent message she delivered at a formal state engagement, and analyze how she completely outmaneuvered Queen Camilla without uttering a single word. To truly understand why the Princess of Wales decided to draw an absolute line in the sand, you have to look at the silent compounding friction that has been quietly building between the current Queen and the future one. Publicly, the relationship between Catherine and Camilla has always been curated to look perfectly fine: photographed warmth, coordinated appearances, and two highly disciplined women coexisting within the formal structures of the firm. But in private, insiders describe a massive, icy distance that has never truly closed. Part of that is inherently structural. One is the current Queen, and the other is the future Queen, creating an automatic tension regarding precedence and influence. But sources point to a much deeper pattern of Camilla allegedly overreaching into the upbringing and public exposure of George, Charlotte, and young River. Decisions regarding the children belong exclusively to their parents, but Camilla had reportedly been inserting subtle, persistent suggestions wrapped as preferences she expected to matter. Catherine noticed every single slight, saying absolutely nothing, patiently waiting for the right moment to act. But the frustration violently shifted from standard palace maneuvering to something deeply personal and offensive during the most vulnerable chapter of Catherine's recent life. During her intensive cancer diagnosis and treatment, the absolute expectation was that her health, her capacity, and her temporary absence would be protected with basic human sensitivity. But what filtered back to the Wales household is that private conversations regarding her long-term capacity and the resulting institutional arrangements surrounding William were being discussed and manipulated within Camilla's circle in ways that Catherine considered an unforgivable violation. Catherine has willingly surrendered almost everything to this institution: her privacy, her spontaneity, and her ability to exist without calculation. But she held her children, her marriage, and her health back as an untouchable private core. To have that boundary crossed by someone whose formal title carries zero actual authority over her life ignited a protective instinct that bypassed her usual strategic patience. When that protective instinct fires in someone who has been this disciplined for this long, the response is never loud or confrontational. Catherine does not do explosive scenes. Instead, she executed a precise public maneuver that was completely unambiguous to the people it was aimed at, while being wrapped in just enough plausible ambiguity that it could never be formally objected to. Royal protocol is not just a list of polite etiquette suggestions. It is a centuries-old, highly sophisticated language of gesture, positioning, and precedence. Everyone inside those walls is entirely fluent in it. They know the exact difference between a momentary oversight and a deliberate statement. At a major formal engagement, where the order of precedence governed every single movement, Catherine deliberately and visibly departed from the expected choreography, physically repositioning herself relative to Camilla in the formal hierarchy of the moment. She adjusted her movements and her acknowledgements in a way that openly shattered the official narrative of the relationship, and everyone in that room saw it. The absolute most devastating aspect of this silent ambush was Prince William's calculated, immediate alignment with his wife. William and Catherine do not operate as independent actors. They function as a highly coordinated, singular unit, around which the entire future of the monarchy is being actively constructed. The idea that Catherine would execute a massive visible departure from royal protocol without William's awareness goes against everything we know about their partnership. While he didn't co-author the specific movement, his response on the floor served as a powerful unspoken endorsement. He did not attempt to correct the choreography, nor did he create the physical or social distance that would communicate discomfort to the watching courtiers. He moved with her in the subtle physical language of total alignment. To Camilla, standing on that floor, the message from the future of the crown was deafeningly clear. You have gone entirely too far, and we are officially done performing as though you haven't. This silent execution happened at a moment when the structural balance of power inside the palace has completely shifted in William and Catherine's favour. The working royal family right now is smaller than it has been at any point in modern history, operating on a virtual skeleton crew. With the Sussexes gone, and King Charles bravely managing his duties through immense public health difficulties, the daily weight of representing the crown has consolidated entirely onto the shoulders of the Wales household. They are no longer just the abstract future of this institution. They are its operational present. Influence that comes from being genuinely indispensable is infinitely more secure than influence that comes strictly from a marriage certificate. Camilla's position is inherently relational, built entirely on her proximity to Charles, making her structurally weaker than the surface comparison of their titles would suggest. The atmosphere inside the palace walls in the weeks since this protocol showdown has been described by sources as intensely formal, correct, and entirely icy. The professional surface is being maintained with surgical precision, because the institution demands it. But the distance under the surface is not closing. Catherine has returned to the flawless composure and discipline that have always defined her public profile. But there is a massive, permanent difference between the composure of someone who is enduring pressure and the composure of someone who has officially drawn a line. Catherine is no longer just enduring the system. She is actively operating from a position of absolute institutional authority. She has spent over a decade giving this family everything it asked for, but she has officially proven that when her private boundaries are crossed, she will respond with a sophisticated precision that the old guard has absolutely no counter-strategy to defeat. The new chapter of the British monarchy is being written in real time, and the Princess of Wales is the one holding the pen. Do you think Catherine was right to use the silent language of royal protocol to deliver such a definitive warning to Queen Camilla? Or will this internal Cold War permanently fracture the stability of the crown at its most vulnerable moment? Drop your absolute most detailed theories in the comments section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and activate that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the real power dynamics shaping the monarchy. I will see you all in the very next video.